Friends, before we dive into today's terrifying story, let me share something interesting with you. Almost 80% of the people who watch our videos enjoy them, but haven't subscribed yet. So, if you're one of those 80%, it'll just take a second. Hit that subscribe button below so you'll never miss our chilling tale. When you hear the word vampire, what comes to mind? Pale faces, sharp fangs, coffins, fear of sunlight. That's what movies taught us. But what if vampires didn't look like monsters? What if they looked exactly like us? This is the Florida vampire case, and it's based on events that still disturb investigators to this day. It started in Florida. A group of teenagers walked into a local police station to report their friend missing. Her name was Sarah. She was supposed to meet them the night before. She never showed up. Her phone had been off for over 24 hours. No one knew where she went. The police began filing the report, when suddenly, a strange call came into the station. All they could hear was crying, screaming. No words, no explanation, just panic. The call disconnected. Officers traced the number and headed out immediately. Two officers, Brad and Derek, were following the signal for miles outside the city. The exact location kept shifting. It made no sense. Then they saw someone lying on the side of the road, unconscious. It was Sarah. Her body was turning pale, almost blue. Blood was coming from her left arm. They rushed her to the hospital. What doctors told them next was terrifying. For 2 straight days, someone had been draining her blood. But that wasn't the worst part. 3 of her teeth were missing. There were burn marks on her hands, and strange symbols carved into her back in an unknown language. This wasn't a normal kidnapping. This was ritualistic. Brad gave Derek the forensic samples and decided to revisit the location where Sarah was found. He drove nearly an hour into a wooded area outside the city. He found the exact road, but something strange started happening. No matter which direction he drove, he kept ending up in the same spot, like the road was looping. Then he saw them. Figures near his car, covered in what looked like blood. Their faces distorted, unnatural, moving slowly toward him. Brad grabbed his gun and aimed, and suddenly, they were gone. Completely gone. Before he could react, an overwhelming wave of exhaustion hit him, like someone had flipped a switch in his brain. Everything went black. When Brad woke up, he was tied to a table. A tube was inserted into his arm. His blood was flowing into a bottle. Across from him sat a young man and woman. They looked normal, calm, almost casual. They were talking, eating, and between them was a glass bottle filled with blood. They were drinking it, taking turns, like it was wine. Brad slowly looked around the room. There were ritual tools, strange symbols, and piles of human teeth. This wasn't fantasy. This was organized, calculated. A group, a cult. By nighttime, Brad was weak, barely conscious. But somehow, he managed to loosen the rope around his wrists. He ran through the woods until he found an old roadside phone booth. He called the station. Derek picked up. Brad tried explaining everything, but Derek couldn't hear him clearly. All he heard was crying and screaming. The same sounds from the earlier, mysterious call. Derek traced the call and drove out immediately. He found Brad on the same stretch of road where they had found Sarah, unconscious, barely alive. Brad died shortly after reaching the hospital. Sarah didn't survive much longer. Severe blood loss. Derek didn't stop investigating. Weeks later, deep in the woods, he found it. A small, crude house. And outside, a broken phone booth. Inside, the house was empty, but evidence remained. Ritual markings, biological traces, and signs of organized activity. Investigators concluded a secret group had been operating there. A group obsessed with blood rituals, trying to sustain themselves through human blood, using dark practices. After that discovery, no similar cases were reported in Florida, but stories of modern vampires continue to surface around the world. This case was reportedly based on real investigative files. So here's the question. Do you believe vampires are just myths? Or have they simply learned to blend in? If you woke up tomorrow and realized you weren't human anymore, what would you do? Let me know in the comments. And if you enjoy true horror stories like this, subscribe to the channel. Because some monsters don't hide in coffins. They hide in plain sight.